Donald Trump said, basically, he had like a Biden moment. Do you remember when Biden said, "You ain't black if you vote for the other guy"? Remember this?
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community.
Right. You ain't black. If you can't figure out who to vote for, then you ain't black. And here's Donald Trump basically saying, you ain't Jewish if you vote for Zohran Mamdani. He says, any Jewish person that votes for Zohran Mamdani, a proven and self-professed Jew hater, is a stupid person. Oh, boy. But it turns out actually a lot of Jews like Mamdani. I mean, there's been this big smear campaign, right, against the guy, which has been this total giant smear of, he's an Islamist terrorist. He's going to be terrible for all the Jews in New York City. It's going to be awful. What are we going to do about this guy? We got to get rid of him. He's a big Jew. He's an anti-Semite. He's a Nazi. He's all these terrible things. And yet, actually, a lot of Jews really like Mamdani.
Zohran is good for Jews because Zohran is good for everybody. Don't ask me to talk too much. No, because I'll just go on.
What excites me about Zohran Mamdani is he's expressing the values that I feel are my Jewish values as well.
They come up to me and they say, Jews for Zohran? Oh, there's a mistake there. And I said, no, it's no mistake because it's consistent with our concern for people and workers and unions.
Equity, social justice, concern for people at the lower end of the economic scale. We have a responsibility to the stranger. That's in the Tanakh.
Zohran's values are human values, and human values are Jewish values.
Opponents like Cuomo use anti-Semitism in a way that is so destructive.
When I think about Andrew Cuomo, I don't think he really cares about Jews and whether anti-Semitism is a real thing or not. He uses it as a prop to get support for him.
He's really doing the same thing Trump does. He's using anti-Semitism to divide and conquer. We are not a monolith. We're all individuals. We have a variety of opinions on every topic. It's cynical and it's naive. Where I see a difference between Zohran and other politicians is stating loud and clear that he wants to be a mayor for everyone.
I believe that Zohran has a real plan to protect not only Jews, but all communities.
He's met with everyone and he's discussed the differences he has with them. He's gone to synagogues all over the city. He's gone to black churches. He has talked about what he believes and listened to other people.
He is very supportive of Jews and every other group that has been marginalized or attacked in one way or another in New York City.
He's the mayor that I think our city needs.
He is the right person, the right time.
I think he's going to be very good for the Jews.
I am so proud to be able to vote for a candidate like Zohran Mamdani. He is both the future of New York and the hope of New York. Thank you.
Again, this whole voting for Zohran Mamdani is going to be bad for Jews. He's going to be terrible for Jews. This is like what the left said about Donald Trump. Voting for Donald Trump, he's going to be bad for blacks. He's going to be bad for women. He's going to be bad for Hispanics. And yet, in these 3 presidential elections, each election, Trump gained the Hispanic vote. And really, the Hispanic vote was very pivotal in helping him get elected this last time. He gained year over year with the Hispanic vote. And yet the left just kept saying, nope, he hates Hispanics. He's going to deport all of you. It's going to be awful for you. Don't you think that's really awful? It's going to be terrible. And that's what they've just basically done with Zohran Mamdani. He's bad for Jews. He's bad for Jews. And you got all these Jews being like, actually, I like the guy. Oh, well, you're not Jewish then. You're a bad Jew. You're a self-hating Jew. Middle East Eye reports Mamdani earns endorsement from influential Orthodox Jewish community leader in New York City. The leader of a faction of the Haredi community in New York City endorsed Democratic nominee for New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani on Sunday. What a self-hating Jew. The coveted endorsement comes just 2 days before Election Day. Rabbi Moshe Indig, a political leader of the Aranim faction of the anti-Zionist Satmar Hasidic community, endorsed Mamdani at a public meeting in Williamsburg, Brooklyn on Sunday, days after rumors of an endorsement from a Haredi faction were said to be in the cards. So he's met with them, and they are anti-Zionist. They are not in favor of the state of Israel. They think the state of Israel is bad for Jews. I think many of us agree at this point. The state of Israel has been really bad for Jews and for how people feel about Jews, I think. around the world. I think that they've created a lot of anti-Semitism, and a lot of Jews know this, and they're super against Israel. And here's some of them, and they are meeting with Zohran Mamdani, and they are endorsing him. They're happy to vote for him. Here he is again. Jews, turns out, for Mamdani, self-hating. Maybe they'll get kicked out. Zohran Mamdani says, I was honored to receive the endorsement of Rabbi Moshe Indig and Aaron leaders in Williamsburg today. We're rejoined by my friend, Lincoln Ressler. Together we will fight the scourge of anti-Semitism and build a city that works for every New Yorker. Yeah, the scourge of anti-Semitism is Israel. All you have to do is just root out the Zionism, and then that's how you get rid of the anti-Semitism, because the Zionism is creating it. There he is meeting with Rabbi. All these self-hating Jews. Can you believe these guys? I mean, you're just stupid, according to Donald Trump. All these stupid people. Here's Rabbi Yaakov Shapiro. We've had him on the show before. He's great. Satmar, the largest ultra-Orthodox group in the world, are not endorsing any candidate in New York City mayoral race, but came out with statements highlighting Mamdani's gestures and outreach, which, while condemning false and dangerous campaign portraying him as hostile to Jews. In the streets, there is a fear and hate campaign against Zohran Mamdani, portraying him as if he is against Jews. It is false, and such a campaign is irresponsible and contrary to the way of the Torah. So it turns out Zohran Mamdani has a lot of Jewish voters, even though there's this major fear campaign. And, when it comes to this election today, it's going to be really difficult to, whenever I see an election like this, because we've seen in the recent days, Cuomo's gaining, Cuomo's getting closer to Mamdani, Cuomo might win, might win. And I think that's just psychological crap. I don't think that's real. I think they do that to get you to try to follow along like sheep. They're trying to shepherd you, is what they're trying to do. So they'll say to you, oh, Zohran Mamdani is losing, Cuomo's winning. And then that makes you as the voter, potentially when you go to the polls, you say, well, I don't want to be the loser. I don't want to vote for the loser. So I'm going to vote for the winner. I think Cuomo's going to win because the establishment's been telling me Cuomo's going to win. I think it's a lot like Hillary Clinton, right? When they said, oh, Hillary Clinton's going to win. Hillary Clinton's going to win. And maybe they actually knew she wasn't, but they were actually trying to gaslight us all into thinking, well, Hillary's obviously going to win. So I guess I vote Hillary because she's going to be the winner. And so it's a way to psychologically kind of get you to behave in the way that they want you to behave. And so they think, a lot of people who I think the psychological with it really is they realize that there's a lot of people who just don't take the time to go out to vote. And they certainly don't want to go out to vote if they think their guy's just going to lose. So instead you tell them, no, your guy's going to win. Your guy might win. And so if you put it out there, Cuomo, he's gaining. He might win. He might win. And they're banking on your guy being Cuomo, but is anybody's guy Cuomo? They're banking on that, and they're hoping that then you'll hear this, and then you'll say, oh, well, okay, then I guess I better get out there and help out. He's got a chance. So now if, maybe my vote will be the one that puts him over the edge. So it's a psychological tactic to get people to vote. But that's why I don't believe any of these polls. I actually think that the vast majority of New Yorkers want Mamdani. I don't see why there's any reason for us to think they don't. I mean, look, many people have been screaming about how liberal these cities are, how liberal LA, San Francisco, New York, how these are crazy liberal cities, and they are. And so, okay, you know that. These are filled with crazy liberal people that all wanted to lock us down during COVID, give us 5 jabs in the arm if they could. And I mean, these are those people. And so why wouldn't they want Mamdani? Of course they do. What makes you think they want Cuomo? They don't. They're radicals. Remember, you've been saying they're radicals this whole time. So if you've been saying these are radicals, then what makes you think they don't want the radical? Of course they do. So it's a big gaslighting campaign when they sit there and they say, oh, these radicals who have been running the city and running around in the city, suddenly they don't want the radical candidate. Of course they do. But that is a showcasing of, and let them have that. I mean, let voters all around the country have whoever it is they want. I certainly don't want radicals, liberal radicals coming into my state or city and saying, well, we think we know better than you, and you're all a bunch of gun-toting conservatives in Idaho, and so we're going to give you a big dose of radical liberalism. I don't want that. The people here vote the way the people here want to live, and leave them alone. It might not be for you. Then don't live here. Simple as that. There's a whole country. That's the beauty of the republic. You can actually move around and live in whichever place you like, depending on what suits you and your family. You get to do that freely, open borders. So but the point of this is they're trying, the tactic they use when they say, oh, this guy is, this other guy's gaining. I mean, these are all psychological manipulation tactics, and we should all reject them. We should all spot them when we see them. We should reject them. But it also could be, a shield to cover up when they do, wreck when they manipulate things. And when we end up with a result that's not what we're supposed to be ending up with, then, they lay the groundwork in advance and set it up to say, well, Andrew Cuomo was gaining. So when Andrew Cuomo suddenly wins in the middle of the night because the establishment makes sure, hell and high water, he wins, then it's more believable to you. It's more palatable to you to believe this, even though you've been screaming that the city is run by a bunch of radicals. Then now it's more palatable that the radicals suddenly didn't vote for the other radical. They instead voted for the establishment guy. It's kind of believable when they've been laying that groundwork. So something to keep in mind when we hear those things. But here we are. We will see what happens. I'm rooting for Mamdani. I'm not going to lie. I want to see what the guy does with the place. He's a radical. He wants to defund everything. Well, okay, let him do it. Let's try it. I don't know. Just like Javier Milei in Argentina. Okay, he wants to slash all the government programs. He wants to get rid of everything. Let him try it out. See if it works. I don't know. Maybe it will. And something that works in one place might not work in another. Something that works in that other place might not work somewhere else. One size does not fit all. Maybe New York should be more socialist Democrat. I don't know. And maybe places like Idaho should be totally and completely libertarian. That's supposed to be the beauty of America. And I would like to preserve that. And so let the voters vote. Let's see how they end up. We'll find out in the middle of the night. But you know what, guys? I'm going for Mamdani. Thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. It is free for you to watch. Again, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, KimIversonShow.com. See you there.